Myth. Car payments are a way of life. You'll always have a car payment. How many of you are like me? You've said that, or you know someone that says that all the time. You're always going to have a car payment. I've noticed as I've kind of watched this for a while, the people that say that, and this is not lower income people, this is middle class and upper class people. You're always going to have a car payment. They always kind of have this lilt, this kind of a whine in their voice as they're saying it. You know, you're always going to have a car payment. You might as well accept it. It's just the way it is. Life is rough, so get a low payment and a nice car. You need to enjoy things while you can. You know, the little man can't get ahead. Well, I just told you 80% of America's millionaires are first generation rich. Where's this little man that's having so dad blame much trouble? You live in the greatest land the world has ever known. Opportunity abounds everywhere. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It's hard. It's just worth it. And this is the only place that's true. Visit other countries. They are totally confused on this subject. I mean, America's got her challenges, but honey, we got it made. We can do anything we want to do. But we can also decide that you're always going to have a car payment. And you know what? Somebody will help you always have a car payment. Well, you probably ought to sit down with your parents and have a meeting and talk about the debt that this car represents. Is there another way we can take care of the transportation issue working together that wouldn't involve your parents being in debt? And if not, then let's work together to try to get that particular car paid off. Staying away from car payments by driving a reliable used car is what the typical millionaire does. That's how they became a millionaire. But in America, you got to remember, we love our cars, don't we? I mean, your car is your identity. We will spend $800 a month, $600 a month to impress somebody at a stoplight we'll never meet. I mean, we bust it for a car. I mean, don't mess with my car. Start talking to me about no car. I mean, I'm going to have a nice car. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm talking about, don't you, boys? Boys love cars. Now, some of you girls love cars too, I know, but most of you just think they're a large purse. You know, the average car payment in America today, according to USA Today, is $464 a month. You know, if you take $464 a month invested in a decent growth stock mutual fund from the age of 30 to the age of 70, if you get out of debt and you're in here in your 20s right now and you start instead investing what you would have spent on rust buckets, then guess what? Wow. That turns into $5.5 million. Hope you like the car.
We Americans have a love fest going on with our cars. We love them. Where else on earth can you find a couple who is flat broke and living paycheck to paycheck, but with two brand new cars in the driveway? The problem is our mindset. We've been bombarded with the notion that we'll always have a car payment. So when the car starts to show a little wear, we just run off and sign a $26,000 note for a new one. Recent statistics show that 1/3 of car buyers sign up for a 6-year loan at an average interest rate of 9.6%. Among these buyers, the average price of the car is just over $26,000. This means that 1/3 of the cars you see on the street are dragging a $475 payment behind them. And what the car dealer won't tell you is that your awesome new car loses about 25% of its value the instant you drive it off the lot. After 4 years, your sweet ride has lost about 70% of its value, and you've still got 2 years of payments left on it. That means that after 6 years, you've paid almost $33,000 for your $26,000 car, which is now worth maybe $6,000. At that point, the normal person would get car fever again, run out and take out a new loan on another new car, and start all over again. But let's think differently for a minute. Say you want a brand new sports car that would normally cost you $475 a month, and the car you're driving now is worth around $1,500. If you take that $475 and pay yourself instead of paying the car dealer, you'll have $4,750 in just 10 months. Add that to the $1,500 you can get for your current car, and you can pay cash for a used $6,250 car. That's a major upgrade in car in just 10 months without ever owing the bank a dime. But let's keep going. If you kept saving at that rate, you'd have another $4,750 in another 10 months. Chances are, less than a year later, you could sell your $6,250 car for about what you paid for it. This means that you can step up again with cash into an excellent $11,000 used car just 20 months from today. Not bad. So just for fun, let's carry out our new plan for that full 6 years by paying that $475 car payment to yourself in a good mutual fund for the next 52 months. Let's just see what happens. At the end of 6 years, your $11,000 paid-for car has just about run its course. It's been great, but it's time to upgrade. But hey, that's no problem. You've got a mutual fund specifically earmarked as a car replacement fund. You know how much is sitting in that fund right now? At the stock market average of 12%, you'd have about $32,000. Here's where things get nutty. If you go buy a car with cash for $12,000, you'd still have $20,000 sitting in your car fund earning about 12%. Do you know what that means? Even if you never add another dollar to the car fund, you'll be able to buy $14,000 to $18,000 cars every 5 years from now on. The interest you'd earn on that mutual fund will pay for your cars for the rest of your life. That's free cars, man. That's what happens when your money starts working for you. You'll never have a car payment again. And do you know what you can do if you don't have a car payment? Do you know what your car payments are costing you? You remember that $475 payment you were about to start handing over to the car dealer? If you were to invest that in a good mutual fund every month instead of sending it to the car dealer, you'd have over $100,000 in just 10 years. At 20 years, you'd have about $470,000. At 30 years, it would be $1.6 million. And at 40 years, that former car payment would be worth $5,588,385. This one decision about a car can literally change your life. You can drive 3 cars and retire a millionaire with just this one decision. Drive free, retire rich. And by the way, when you're a millionaire, you can drive pretty much whatever you want.
Fleecing your car is what sophisticated financial people do. This is a myth. The truth is that the car fleece is the most expensive way to finance and operate a vehicle. Smart Money Magazine says that according to the National Auto Dealers Association, if a brand new car dealer sells you a new car for cash, they average $82 profit. They don't make any money on the sale of new cars. Their number 1 profit center is the garage. Their number 2 profit center is a little square glass booth called the finance office. Because if they can get you to put that car on payments, they sell that book of payments back to the home office, to GMAC or Ford Motor Credit or Chrysler Credit, or they sell it back to Toyota Credit or Lexus Credit or whoever, right? Or they sell it to your local bank if you don't qualify for the dealer financing. And if they do regular payments, they'll sell that paperwork, and instead of making $82, according to this article in Smart Money Magazine, they'll make an average of $775. If they can get you to fleece the car, the fleece is worth a lot more because it's a better deal for them. They make an average of $1,300 on the car fleece. A friend of mine runs a luxury car lot, and I won't say the brand. He's a friend. I won't pick on him. But it's one of the high-end ones, and he says 78% of the people drive off of that high-end lot are doing it with a fleece, wanting to look like they're somebody that they're not, and they never asked how much. They only ask how much down and how much a month. These are the questions of broke people. Rich people ask how much. Broke people say how much down and how much a month. Broke people, when they say I can afford it, what they mean is they think they can pay the payments. Rich people, when they say I can afford it, mean they have the money to pay for the whole thing right then. That's how it's done. Truth is, if you own a business, you can write off your paid-for car on taxes without paying payments for the privilege. I had a guy call me on the radio and says, Dave, I own my own business. I'm a sub-S corporation. I get to write off my car fleece payments. And I said, well, guess what? You can take mileage if your car is paid for. And if your car is paid for and you don't drive it a lot of miles and you drive a nice car that's owned by your company like I do, then you take straight line depreciation. I get the same tax advantages without having to give the bank a check for the opportunity. Hey, there's an idea. There's a really sophisticated business person. Truth is also that the way to minimize money lost on things that go down in value is by used, which is what I told that guy. When your business owns your car, when your business owns your truck, and you're running the wheels off the thing, it's going down in value. That's an expense to your business. If you take a $30,000 vehicle, run it 40 or 50,000 miles a year, or run it up on a construction site and let somebody back their Bobcat into it, whichever it is, right? And you devalue that $30,000 vehicle in a business setting to $15,000 in a year, and you'll do that if you're tearing into the thing like that, you've lost $15,000. I don't know what part of this sounds smart to you. If I'm going to run something on a construction site like that and let somebody back a dozer into it, I'd rather that be a $4,000 truck and not a $45,000 truck. And the same thing if I'm going to run the wheels off one going down the road. I don't want to destroy the value of a $50,000 car by putting miles on it. It's that simple. I want to destroy the value of a $6,000 or an $8,000 car by putting miles on it. That's how this stuff really works in the real world. Car fleecing is a really bad idea. And yes, I did say fleecing. You didn't misunderstand me. Okay. What happens is these people call my show and they say, Dave, I've got this financial problem. I'm struggling financially. I don't know how I'm going to get ahead. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, what's wrong? Well, we're behind on the house payment. We can't seem to get caught up on anything. You start talking about investing in a Roth IRA or kids' college, you can forget that. I'm just trying to pay the light bill. Life is rough. I said, oh, really? How much do you owe on your car? What's that got to do with it? Life is rough. I understand, but how much do you owe on your car? That wasn't what I called about. Life is rough. These are calls on my show, aren't they? How much do you owe on your car? Well, $32,000. Really? How much you make a year? $27,000. I think we found the problem, Junior. Sell the car. What? That wasn't what I was calling about. I know, but sell the car. And it's so bad that so many of the calls, so many people have gotten themselves in car messes that our show is like half the answers on the air are sell the car, aren't they? People start the call out with, well, I know I got to sell the car, but let's talk about the rest of it. Against cars. I don't want you to drive a piece of junk all your life. I get these people send me pictures of their car and it says old beater with smoke coming out the back. And it says, this is my Dave car. What's that? Dave doesn't drive a car like that. I actually understand what you're saying, but I want you to get multi-rich and get you 2 brand new Mercedes and send me that. Say, that's your Dave car, okay? That's what I want to be, the Dave car. Naming your hoopties Dave cars. I gotta stop this stuff. So they call in, they go, no, what's wrong, Dave? I'm having trouble with my marriage. Okay, sell the car. I mean, it's all the answers. It's the sell the car show. I can just leave and play a tape. Sell the car, sell the car, sell the car. It's so bad, we were in Midland, Odessa, Texas the other day doing a big live event out there with about 5,000 people, and this guy came up to the stage and handed me the local classified ads there. And I started reading this and I was cracking up. The ad in there says, Dodge Grand Caravan, 25,000 miles. Dave Ramsey said, sell the car. Car payments are not a way of life. Myth, you can get a good deal on a new car. Truth, a new car loses 70% of its value in the first 4 years, according to finalcall.com. Kiplinger's Personal Finance Magazine verifies it with very, very similar numbers. Now let me tell you what that means. If you buy a $28,000 car, in 4 years it's going to be worth $8,400 on average. That's the average in America today. That's $408 a month that you are losing. So if you're driving a brand new $28,000 car once a week on your way to work, roll down the window, throw out one of these on the interstate just to kind of get the effect of what's going on. Well, now, you just don't believe in having anything nice. I believe in having a lot of stuff nice. I just don't want that nice stuff to have me. I'm not one of those financial guys that says you ought to live in a cave, collect lint, and only come out on Triple Coupon Thursday. I want you to get some nice things. But when you pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars a month, every month through your whole life in car payments, it is very difficult to build wealth. The car payment financially, mathematically, is the mantra of the middle class. You are dooming yourself to financial mediocrity if you keep car payments as a way of life. Get the stupid thing paid off and then do what rich people do, and that's pay cash. Think. It's the largest thing we buy that goes down in value. And the Consumer Bankers Association reports that 33.5% of car buyers owe more on their trade-in than it's worth. That's 1/3 of the people driving around out there when they hit a car lot. 1 out of 3 are upside down. They owe more on their car than it's worth. And that's the other call I get on the air all the time. Dave, how do I get out from under the upside down car? So, that's the deal. There is not such a thing as a good deal on a new car. Ooh, that one's a tough one. Didn't hear any cheers then. The worst car accidents happen on the showroom floor. That's what we're talking about. Now, is it ever okay to buy a brand new car? Absolutely. Absolutely. When you have $1 million. And if you do what I teach you to do, it won't be that long. You'll be amazed how quick. And in the meantime, you can drive some nice cars. But when you got $1 million, you can afford to lose 10 or 15 or 20,000 bucks on something and enjoy that. I got a friend of mine that's worth $20 million. He called me up the other day and he said, Dave, I'm thinking about buying my wife a brand new $70,000 Lexus for Christmas for her present. What do you think? And I said, dude, you got $20 million. Shut up. What are you asking me for? Go get the car. Or the guy that calls me on the air one day. And the call screener software, when I'm on the air, the person's name pops up when Laura takes the call and then types in the subject of the person that's what they're calling about. And it says, Ron in Birmingham, and it types in, wants to buy a Harley. Now, normally on the Dave Ramsey Show, that's a 32-year-old little boy who's behind on his student loan. His wife's scared. There's no emergency fund. They've got 6 payments on everything else, and he wants to go buy a Harley because he works hard. I'm sorry. I'm getting ready to kill this guy when he comes on the air. I'm just loading my gun. And he comes on the air, and I'm ready to get him. I'm poised, right? And he says, yeah, Dave, I've always wanted a Harley. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to have a big Harley, one of those big road bikes, blah, 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 blah. I said, man, I got to tell you, Harleys are cool bikes. They make a neat sound. And those guys riding around on them, they all look cooler than me. I like them. They're neat bikes. I said, maybe you ought to get you one. Tell me about your financial situation. I'm figuring he's going to start telling me how broke he is and how he deserves a Harley, and he's going to put it on payments, and then I'm going to kill him. So I was kind of setting him up. I said, so how much you make a year? And he said, well, last year I made $650,000. Do what? Oh, yeah, I'm a neurosurgeon. So what'd you make the year before? Well, $550, $560. How much money you got in mutual funds? About $10 million. Dude, buy the Harley. So I guess we're laying out some guidelines here, aren't we? If you live like no one else, later you get to live like no one else. If you'll drive like no one else, later you get to drive like no one else. And you don't have to feel guilty about it because you haven't put your family in jeopardy because you wanted a toy. The guy that drove up with the old Vet that was so cool on my driveway, he's worth several $1 million. That old Vet was under 10 grand. He just bought it for fun. If he drives it off a cliff tomorrow, it doesn't change his life. With no insurance. As long as he's not in it. Financially. Doesn't change his life. You with me? This is how this stuff works. Enjoy your money, but don't go get stuff when you haven't got the money. That's what children do. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. And I know this is hurting some of your feelings. And like I said, it's a gift.